All set for Cricbuzz Chatter at the end of day three of this incredible test match. And we took a little longer than we normally would have to get set. There were two reasons for that. One, the traffic in Bangalore from the Chinnaswamy Stadium to ITC Windsor, where we are. And second, DK was waiting for the OTP for the food that he had ordered. Now that it is done, everything is set. Let's look back at an amazing day's cricket. I know there was a little twist in the end. DK, I don't know if when you were young, there was this concept of the family social drama, we used to call it in Hyderabad.
I'll talk
Social.
When you were young, Khadu, I am young. I know which one you're
When
doing.
you were younger,
Younger.
we used to have this family social. I don't know why they call it social, but inevitably in the last scene, either the hero's mother, something happened, or something happened to the heroine, or something happened to the hero at the end, and people came out crying, and they would call it a tear jerker hit. It's a little bit like that today. A little bit like that today. I don't think anybody expected 356 lead India to mount the kind of challenge that it did and that outside edge at the end. Still 231 for 3 India, trailed by 125. I was fascinated watching Sarfaraz bat, but my eyes were on Virat Kohli. I'll be honest, my eyes were on Virat Kohli, and he was looking so much in control.
He was, wasn't he? It was a great partnership. One that actually put India in a good position, but most importantly, two different players from two different spaces in life right now. One who is obviously holding on, trying to hold on to his place in the 11 and to the flight to Australia, and the other, the burden of expectations. And every time anything happens, people talk about him to come out and just play the way he did, dominated. And it was a great partnership.
And I thought the manner in which Virat Kohli was rotating strike, the manner in which he was running the ones and twos, it was such a typical Kohli innings. The moment you get the opportunity, rock back, cut one as he did early on in the innings against Ajaz Patel, cutting just in front of point for four. Then when it started to bog down, suddenly one straight six down the ground. And, it seemed to me we were seeing the dominant Kohli again. Went past 9,000 runs as well, but it augured well. I mean, you can't let the aftertaste take away the taste of the main course.
Correct, correct. Everything is food based with your analogies. I like it today. Continue. That's nice. It's 6:30 only dinner also.
Look at him. I'm trying to get the expert into the conversation. But it was a day that you will remember, not just for the end, but for a very spirited fight back. I thought Jaiswal set the scene. He'll be very disappointed in the manner in which he got out. That is his game. Rohit Sharma, this is something I want to ask you as a batter. When you play the defensive shot, sometimes the ball hits the bat, comes back. Do you not always know where it is going?
You kind of have a sense, but why Rohit Sharma wouldn't have felt it early was because of the bat pad gap. It went back. He didn't realize how far back it was. By the time he could have even thought of it, it was too late because it was so close to the stumps. And that's why it didn't give him a chance. Generally, what happens, even if it pitches in front of you, you can see the ball going behind, like the Tim Saudi incident. Similar in the morning when he just kicked it away, you kind of have a feeling, and it's better if you're on the back foot. On the front foot, sometimes you tend to miss it because even if it goes back, it doesn't carry that far back. So I feel for Rohit Sharma, but with the current defensive technique that he has, and a lot of the batters have, it's very different to what is the orthodox way of playing. DRS has come and changed it. We discussed it, but most importantly, it was a very, I wouldn't say unlucky, because unlucky is one where you did everything right and then things didn't go wrong. This is obviously something that he will always be facing when a left arm spinner, one who turns and one goes away. So it was a dismissal that came at a very wrong time for India. There is no dismissal that comes at the right time, but in general, he had just got to his 50, and you got the feeling that he was mentally psyching himself up for something big. He wasn't going to be happy with the 50. Something that we discussed, saying, can he get those big hundreds? Today, I thought he was determined and he was concentrating that much more.
And he was looking very good. In all fairness, he was looking really good today, Rohit Sharma. Now, who's the more disappointed of the two sitting in that change room today? Yashasvi Jaiswal or Rohit Sharma?
Rohit Sharma. Why would Yashasvi Jaiswal be disappointed?
He was batting well.
He was batting well, but the choice of shot is something that he will live with. He plays with fire, so at times you will get burnt. So that's how it is. I don't think he will regret his shot. He'll probably be a tad bit disappointed, understandably so, but it is something that the new age player will leave it. And we discussed this yesterday as well, that fear of failure is not as much as it used to be. So that's why the freedom to play big shots come. I mean, imagine 10 years ago if that shot was played. Some of them won't even speak to each other for a long time. But his captain was on the other end, and it's all accepted today. But he would be disappointed. Definitely, Rohit Sharma would be very disappointed. But one that would be shattered is obviously Virat Kohli, I feel.
I mean, he took that review, but I mean, you just knew on.
It was a review or a shock, isn't it? Like, you can't
He
believe
was
that
shocked.
happened. Yeah.
He was absolutely shocked. I was on air, and I thought I heard a little clip as it went by. All the kind of sound that is there, but you don't want it to be there.
I'm not going to
That
lie,
kind of
Harsha,
sound.
but I genuinely, that last ball, you, me, and Ian Smith were obviously commentating at that point of time. I really, when the last ball happened, there was a little bit of a delay, and I was thinking about Basit Ali and Shane Warne, thinking last ball. That also was a moment. And I got this feeling only because when he dived, instead of just standing up and just going with the flow, he stopped the flow by asking for a new pair of gloves. Maybe it got wet, maybe it got a little more dirty than he would have liked because he dived. That was a blemish, probably the only blemish he had in choosing to run for that second run. Almost, if it were a better throw, would have got him out. But that broke, I won't say his concentration, but it just broke the rhythm a bit. And then,
DK, you know him far better than I do. Not going for that second run just would not have been Virat Kohli.
100%.
It is Virat Kohli to go for that second run. I can think of, I mean, without taking names, I can think of some people who would have said, "Tuck one, I'll be at the non-strikers and let the
100%.
young kid face." That is just not Virat Kohli. The thing that happens when Kohli is batting in control, he's not playing shots that have you on the edge of your seat because he's in control. The one who was playing those shots was actually Sarfaraz. I think it benefited that he came on when the spinners were on. I thought those two sweep shots early on of Ijaz were fantastic. Then the little uppercut. Then the shot that just was all Sarfaraz. If you close your eyes and imagine Sarfaraz Khan, that is the shot you imagine. He's hunched almost halfway down, and then it goes off. It actually nudges a bit of glove on the way, and then goes off. But two things, what Smithy was talking about, how late he plays, but his eyes are always on the ball.
Very true. He was a man who has done everything right possible as a middle order batsman can do. Very Bradman-esque in terms of average. And he's every opportunity given, he is doing whatever he can to stake a claim. And today as well, he came in. Just imagine being in Sarfaraz shoes. You played a shot like that in the first inning. People are saying, "What is that shot?" On top of this, in domestic cricket, it doesn't do all those questions raised. He comes out, takes a couple of balls. Again, the same bowler's bowling. The tall Willow Rook, who everybody feels that is hard work to play at the start. He is bowling, gets through that over. After a couple of overs, plays a massive sweep. Now, when you're playing a sweep, it's a predetermined shot. So, when you're taking guard and thinking, Sarfaraz, I want to sweep, your mind is saying, go for it. Your heart is saying, oh my God, if I get LBW or pole here, it could be something that could really hamper me. So, with all these thoughts, still going out there, backing your plan and doing it, credit to him, brilliant. The shots that followed were obviously one that adrenaline took over, and then those brilliant shots came through. Again, great shots. He likes staying beside the line, and hence he's able to get the hands under the ball. And he'll always be someone who cuts well, very good in those kind of areas. But overall, the key aspect is his mental makeup towards Test cricket. Brilliant.
And he's the kind of player who's not satisfied with the 70, 80. That's what his record in domestic cricket says. We can get through that first half hour. He'll also whittle down the deficit fairly quickly. Now, if you're someone like a Will O'Rourke, you've seen two sides of the world in 2 days. One day you come up and you think, wow, everything I heard about India is wrong. This is Christchurch, man. And the ball is doing everything. Then the track settles down and you realize why taking wickets in India is so difficult. And it was it was a lesson for New Zealand. And I'll be honest, at no point did New Zealand look like they're going to run through the Indian batting. At no point did it look like that. Even when the ball was turning a little bit for Ejaz Patel, and one of my favorite cricketers, Glenn Phillips, he just never gives up.
Oh.
And then he delivered that at the end. But the bowling looked a little limited in these conditions in the second innings.
At the start with the new ball, I thought Henry and Saudi were very good. They beat the bat a lot of times. They asked questions, and both those batters were under a little bit of pressure because they knew what was being hurled at them at that point of time wasn't easy to deal with. But once the spinners came on, once they got into a bit of rhythm, you just felt, where is that wicket going to come from? They were playing big shots. They were running pretty decently, and they were making it look like how we are used to seeing things happen in India. In a very sedate way, batsman on top, there was not much the bowlers could do. Ajaz Patel, I thought, bowled really well. It was only Sarfaraz Khan who came and took him on.
Took him on
And
six
that
and oh.
actually opened the floodgates for India. But until then, they were very much in control. Yes, Rohit Sharma played few lovely shots, especially the back end of his inning. But overall, must admit, it was a day when we're used to seeing what we saw today, which is bat dominate the ball, 450 plus runs.
153 runs for 10 wickets in just over 90 overs. So you were going at 5 and over throughout. Now, at the end of it all, we're going to look very shortly at what lies ahead. But New Zealand are still way ahead, 125 runs ahead in this game. And the reason they are ahead is a young man who's never going to need a hair transplant and who's going to be talked about for a lot more than just his hair. He played a fantastic innings. He started off, actually, Bumrah bowled a very good spell up front. I thought he showed really solid defense while he was doing that. And then with the tail, he batted magnificently. So I want to ask you about two things. One, about what you thought of Rachin Ravindra's innings. And second, that phase when India conceded 58 runs in 4 overs.
First question, Rachin Ravindra, just to sum it up for me, by the time I got from the car to the hotel, I got at least 1,200 mentions on Twitter asking, please pick him for RCB. That is one.
So the call you're going to be honest with, you're going to be thinking of Rachin
Ravindra. That is one. Anybody does well anywhere. Now, Noman Ali picked 8 wickets. They're saying, look at, he's a Pakistani, he's not allowed to play.
He's already picked for us.
Anybody does well anywhere. Kusal Mendes did well, message the car. Anybody does well, RCB. But on a serious note,
if you can pick him, he'll be a good kid. He just looks like a very special player.
He is a special player. He's got great skills. Just the way he is able to structure an innings, Harsha. There was the similar tempo until he reached to a point with Saudi where they had conversation in between overs. Because up until then, he was taking a single whenever there was an opportunity. In the first 16 runs of their partnership, he had scored 3. Saudi had scored 12, but the best part was Saudi had played way more than what Rachin had played. And then they had this small little conversation in between overs, and then things changed. He wasn't taking the single, and then he brought out his fifth gear batting. What shots he plays, Harsha.
Brilliant. I thought the driving through cover was top class. The hitting over mid wicket was excellent. And then as the pressure eased a little bit, because believe me, there was pressure. It was 187 ahead with when Saudi came into bat. India had a great chance of keeping them down under 200. He soaked in the pressure. When the pressure eased, then Tim Southee scored number of tests is quite a lot. He's the second highest run aggregate in this team. Went past Virender Sehwag in the same number of games, more sixes than Virender Sehwag. But the pressure had gone. And I think that phase, if India do lose this game, they will look back at that phase when 58 runs came of 4 overs of spin against Ashwin, who's had one of a very, very, very rare off days in Test match cricket. And Kuldeep Yadav. So Rachin Ravindra, fantastic. Sentimental old me. You know what I loved?
Mm-hmm.
His father was watching. And I think that is so beautiful. Did you feel that too? That watching?
I saw at least 4 members of his family sitting and watching. That I watched.
Did it affect you if say your dad was watching?
Yeah,
because I met him and I know what a cricket lover he is.
Yeah, I get nervous if my dad is around, and to a point he gets more nervous, so he doesn't watch it. He'll watch it from the side. But as I was playing junior cricket, they used to watch a lot more. But the moment I reached Team India and IPL, they weren't able to stomach what was happening in front. I think they were too much in pressure, so they used to watch highlights a lot more.
Because I remember when I was playing senior division cricket, every time my father came, I'd play a big shot and get out. One day, Arshada, you grabbed me and said, "आपके वालिद साहब का आना जरूरी है." बोलो इधर से आया, आप इधर से गायब. That happened to me. But it's time now, since we are laughing a lot, to put him in the hot spot. You are New Zealand now.
Correct.
Okay, you're New Zealand.
Okay.
It's 48.5.
Yeah.
The deficit has come down to 125. Virat Kohli is batting like he's in control. You don't know what kind of creature this Sarfaraz is suddenly coming and playing all these shots. Are you a little worried? You're New Zealand.
100%. Given India's track record, given India's depth in batting, and the fact that the pitch is slightly starting to show its true colors, which means it's keeping low, taking everything into account. If I was Tom Latham, or if you can ask Tom Latham, if possible tomorrow, and I can tell you, a flash of the fact that this match could still be India's would definitely be in his mind. I would be very surprised if he says no. Maybe because he's a captain, if you ask him right now, he'll say, no, I didn't get a thought. But I can promise you, no matter who you are, those thoughts will be pretty strong, not just a flash, because India is a different beast in their home conditions. To beat them will take a lot.
A
And
lot of self-belief.
even though they have gotten ahead so far, still they know if they give a chance, India will not put a toe, but the body will come out flying through that door. So they got to be very careful. And it's not easy being in New Zealand's position. Even now, yes, Virat Kohli's wicket would mean they can heave a sigh of relief, but that's only until another partnership happens.
And Rishabh Pant was batting during the tea interval and looked like he was batting all right. I found something interesting with the bowling. Normally, you'd expect the sun beating down as the game goes along, start wearing a little bit. I thought the best spinner on display actually bowled in the first hour today. First hour and a half today. And Jadeja bowled beautifully today. Towards the end, he went for a few runs too. So you look at those numbers, 3 for 72 in 20 overs, you say, yeah, okay. Thought he bowled really well enough to suggest that if there is a tricky fourth innings target, Jadeja will be a handful.
Harsha, if this test match goes till the fifth day where India still have a chance, we're talking about 150 lead from here.
Yeah.
India will make it really hard. And Jadeja will be the man, knowing Ashwin. He's someone who comes back from setbacks very well. And that is a setback for him in his career so far. Today was the most expensive over that he's ever given in Test cricket. And that's after, I don't know, more than a decade now that he's bowled. And all that will hurt him. I know the man. It's not going to sit well with him.
He won't sleep tonight. I'm telling you, he won't sleep tonight. His mind will be whirring on what he did and what he needs to do should he get a chance to come back.
And he'll be aware every series. Now, when people speak about international cricket, and sometimes in social media it's shown as, oh, it's easy. This is what Test cricket is. Here is a team which have come well planned. We're going to sweep, we're going to reverse sweep. In between that, we're going to use our feet. Ashwin's now biggest challenge is, how am I going to counter that? That will be, and that's what international cricket is about. Questions will be asked. If you're good enough, you have to answer.
That is why he's got 500 plus wickets. So he will have already worked out a plan. Just one thing before we go on that Indian performance. Did he hold back Bumrah a little too much? When the runs were flowing, I know Bumrah had bowled a 6-over spell or 5-over spell early on, but with half an hour to go for lunch and the game is just starting to go away, that was when India bled too much. Did Rohit miss a trick there, or did he think, no, on the new ball is due, I'll get Bumrah back for the new ball? Because he couldn't have anticipated so many runs going. So were you a little perplexed with?
A little bit, but I won't be too harsh because he's playing 3 spinners and he was hoping that the spinners will do the job. But eventually, at the end of the day, it came to a point where again he had to bowl Bumrah. And the new ball is just round the corner. These are very 50-50 decisions, Harsha. The fact that they started with 2 medium pacers actually surprised us. But, interestingly, both of them got a wicket apiece and then it looked like that was the right decision. That's the beauty of tactics. If it comes good, it's always going to look good. And I would bank Ashwin to do a job, considering, it's Tim Southee. He's got a great carom ball. You would back him to get him out. But today was not meant to be.
He bowled beautifully. I mean, there'll be days when Bumrah will bowl 60% as good as he bowled today and get more wickets than he did today. He bowled beautifully, and that'll be there on the back of the mind for New Zealand. Okay, time to look ahead. This game was fantastic on day 3. Let's look ahead. Let's go fast forward to day 4. Okay, 125 ahead. India knock off 125 for no loss in the 2-hour, 15-minute session. It's India's game. India lose 2 wickets in the first 40-45 minutes. Could almost be game over.
2 wickets, I won't say game over because that means
within the first
still have Ashwin.
Yeah,
Ashwin still is yet to come. I believe Ashwin will do a job here as well with the bat. Good 30-40 you can expect. Even that will be hurting him because he got out first ball. But if India lose 3 wickets within the deficit, then there's no chance, Harsha.
So you're saying if India get to 356, if India 356 for 6, very tough. If India go 356 for 4, almost parity.
Yeah.
356 for 3 ahead.
100. If 356 for 3, India will win this test match. India will, provided rain doesn't come. Because you can be rest assured India will get at least another 150, 180 from there.
I don't know which rain app you used. Our Mohandas Menon used a rain app that said heavy rain at 4 o'clock. That didn't happen. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully there will be no rain. But today, if you were a lover of Test match cricket, it was, you could not have asked for more. You could not leave the stadium or the television screens in front and said, could I have seen a little bit more? I know you didn't want the ending. I hated calling the ending, but you could not ask for
Tell
more.
me this, Harsha. You've seen so many test matches. You have obviously been around for so long as a broadcaster. What is it that you see about Virat Kohli that makes him so special? When the series, not the series, the game is on the line. He hasn't got runs in the first innings. Got out to a tough pitch, on a tough pitch to a tough ball. What did you think will be going on in his mind from the outside? What do you see happening?
I'll tell you, I'll be very honest. In the last 6, 7 innings that I've seen Virat Kohli come out to bat, when Kohli comes out to bat, you get the feeling he's going to control the game from here on. And I wondered whether that side of him was slowly starting to slip away. But in the manner in which he was controlling the strike, one, tuck, one, two, one, two. Next thing you know is Kohli's 12 not out. Then you look for a while and say, no, he's not hit a four, but he's 21 not out. When you see that happening to Virat Kohli, you know this man is in control. With Sarfaraz, one up here, one down here, one down here, you remember. But Virat Kohli took 2, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1 year, 2, 21 not out. You know Virat Kohli is in. I saw that today. And that is what pleased me the most about the innings. And that is what saddened me as an India fan. As a neutral analyst, it made the game a little bit spicier, a little bit more interesting. But as an India fan, that is what bothered me.
9,000 Harsha is reached. Only fourth Indian. 9,000
runs. And 9,000 runs with, I actually thought at this stage he would have gone to 9,500. But I will tell Virat Kohli once again what I said in a blog long ago. I did a blog some years ago. And I think Virat Kohli at that time was 49 point something batting average. And I said, Virat, you don't belong in that league. You're Virat Kohli because you belong in the 50 plus league. You belong in the Rahul Dravid Tendulkar league. You're in the Gavaskar league. And so you must get back to 50 plus. I want Virat Kohli to get back to 50 plus because that is the island that he inhabits. So hopefully that will happen. Not in this test match, but 2 other test matches to come. The form of Virat Kohli augurs very well for India. I want to see if Sarfaraz can now translate the great hunger he has shown in domestic cricket into a larger score. This is already his highest test innings. It won't be for too long in the manner in which he batted today. And if it can be 150, 160 on the last day, wow, what a test match we had. We'll talk about that tomorrow on Cricbuzz Chatter. The reason I have to finish just now is I can see 1 or 2 OTPs popping up on DK's phone, and also all the messages popping in saying, is Will O'Rourke going to play for RCB tomorrow? Not tomorrow, in the coming IPL. See you.
See you, Harsha. Good night.
Cheers.